Hey, what's up? Welcome to episode 4 of Pickle Juice, the podcast where I talk about all of the nerdy things in the week that I didn't have the time or, frankly, the energy to talk about. If you're new here, welcome. This is a more long-form conversation where I just shoot the shit and talk about a wide range of topics. Today, it's going to be about the recently kind of announced Daredevil show on Disney+, The Boys Season 3 trailer, Marvel getting the rights to digitally bring back Stan Lee, the rumors about Captain Carter getting her own show, Riverdale thankfully ending after 7 seasons, and just whatever else I think about. So if any of these topics interest you, or you want to sit back and just hear a guy talk about nonsense for 45 minutes, then, yeah, stay around. Chillax, listen, make some food, put me on in the background while you're doing dishes. I don't give a fuck. I'm just glad you're here. So, Variety just dropped the big-ass bombshell that we kind of all saw coming, that Daredevil is getting a show on Disney+, which we saw him in No Way Home. We knew he was coming back. They got the rights back to him. He's in the MCU now. We knew that this was going to happen, but we didn't know if it was going to be a movie, a TV show. Is it going to be season 4? Is it going to be a reboot? We don't know, and it's not clear. It might be a reboot, it might be a loose continuation. We don't know if Vincent D'Onofrio is coming back. We don't know really anything other than Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil. He's getting a show. And like many other people have said, this worries me immensely. But let me talk about the positives first, because I tend to go negative a lot, and I tend to rant and ramble about things that I'm kind of pissed off about. Let me change it up a little bit and talk about the positives of this announcement first. Look, Charlie Cox is amazing as Matt Murdock in Daredevil. I think it's A+++ casting. I think he's one of the guys in the MCU and Marvel and superhero castings. He was actually perfect for it. I don't know any other actor that could portray Matt Murdock as well as him. He's just so damn good. He brings a quiet nobility to Matt that I think is really missing from a lot of characters. Contemplation. He acts his ass off. He actually, it's kind of crazy to say and it's kind of stupid, but he acts blind really well. Like, you would think that acting blind would be very simple, just kind of look to the side and act like you're blind, but it's not as simple as someone might think, and he does it perfectly. You actually believe that he's a blind man. Dude, he's so good in the role. He's great with the villains, he's great with the side characters, he is amazing as Daredevil. Having him back in the MCU is fantastic. Another amazing actor on the roster. The second thing, I fucking love Daredevil. Daredevil's one of my favorite, maybe top 3, 4, 5 favorite Marvel heroes. I fucking love Daredevil. He doesn't get enough respect. I think his TV show got him the respect he deserved. I love him. I fucking love Daredevil. More Daredevil, that's good. Give me more Daredevil. Number 3, I think he's going to get a comic accurate suit with the DD on it, bright red, maybe yellow, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get more of him swinging around with his billy clubs. Comic accuracy. I love Daredevil, but it was super grounded, and the grounded nature worked for the show in a lot of ways. I love that show. We'll get into that. But I want some more comic accuracy. I want some more acrobatics, comic accurate costumes. So that element, that's going to be good. Seeing him back, seeing Daredevil, the possibility of getting Kingpin back. And Hawkeye, he was kind of a piece of fucking trash, a wasteless piece of dog turd. But having him back, maybe, or having Bullseye back, the guy from Season 3, if they do that again, if they just continue the Bullseye arc, give him a comic-accurate costume, let him do some crazy shit with his powers, him versus Daredevil, Daredevil versus Kingpin, him versus all of them, give us different villains. If they do that, I am excited. I'm excited to see these characters again, and how could I not be? The Daredevil show was fucking amazing. It's maybe the best Marvel thing I've ever seen live action. I'd have to think about it, but it's fucking phenomenal. But that's also the problem, is that the show is fucking phenomenal. Daredevil Season 1, fantastic. Half of Season 2, fantastic. Season 3, pretty fucking fantastic. Altogether, it's an amazing show with immense character depth, great drama, great action, fucking amazing cinematography, great acting. The show is great. A fantastic villain. Kingpin might be the best live-action Marvel villain I've ever seen. The show is so freaking good. The brutality of it, the realness of it. Sometimes gritty can go too far. The grittiness of Daredevil was so good and welcomed to give us a palate cleanser from all of the lighter, fluffy Marvel fare. You have the Avengers, you have Age of Ultron, you have Ant-Man, you have all these Guardians, all these movies that are, you know, more lighthearted and didn't really have a lot of violence in them. And then you get the fucking punch in the face that is Daredevil. Oh, it was so nice to see that. And now I'm worried, as everyone should be, that it's going to get MCU-ified. And it's going to just feel like cookie cutter, made in a factory, same old MCU fare. It's not going to have that grit. It's not going to have that edge. It's not going to have that character depth. It's not going to have the things that made Daredevil great in his show. And it's going to feel like Hawkeye. It's going to feel like Moon Knight. It's going to feel like every other MCU thing. It's going to be a, you know, fluffy, kid-friendly, popcorn fun adventure with Daredevil. I don't want that. Please, for the love of God. If they didn't ask the showrunners of season 3 to come back, that's a fucking crime. I understand if they did ask them and they were like, nah, we just don't want to do it, and then they went with somebody else because this show is going to be written and directed by different people. But if they didn't even ask them, what the fuck are you doing, Kevin Feige? What the fuck? They need to come back. Whoever made season 1, 2, 3, they need to come back and make season 4. Period. If you want to have viewers, you want to have the big numbers, dude, Daredevil has a huge fan base, the TV show. If you brought back those same guys with the same cast, just brought it on Disney Plus, said, guys, we're not changing it up, we're making season 4, people would lose their fucking mind. That would be hands down the most popular MCU show so far. And the other ones have been pretty damn popular. This would fucking destroy Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, all that shit. And I'm afraid it's not going to happen because the MCU, Moon Knight was promised to be the most brutal, the most gritty. We're going to do things that you haven't seen before. Kevin Feige even had comments saying, is this too much? Should we cut the camera away from this? No, show it all. It's going to be brutality on a level that you've never seen. And every time it got brutal and he was stabbing people and got blood on his hands, it cut away from it. You didn't see blood splatters. You didn't see immense brutality. Other than that one scene where that mummy was ripping out that guy's intestines, which they shot in a way where it was blurred and you didn't even really see it. Other than that one little, 45 seconds, the show was pretty damn tame. It wasn't as violent as they promised. So why would I expect that Daredevil would be any different? I mean, I know that violence isn't the #1 priority. Listen, if they get the character right, that's #1. Character, character, character. Writing, character, character. One more time, guys. Character matters over everything. But dude, the sheer brutality of that show will be missed if they change it. I think we're forgetting how fucking brutal Daredevil was. You had him beating people to a fucking bloody pulp. You had Bullseye throwing billy clubs into people's chests and breaking their necks, and Bullseye's entire story was about him stalking this woman, and then he kills her, and he freezes her body, and he's obsessed with it, and he brings her dead body to the Kingpin's wedding, and it's so dark and twisted. You had Kingpin decapitating a guy with a car door until the juicy, red, bloody, wet, disgusting brains fell onto the floor and blood splatter everywhere. You had Daredevil getting shredded by Nobu and blood gushing out of his wounds. And that one time when he interrogated that guy for information and he was putting that knife up into his nose to like fucking hit his nerve. Oh my god, this show was mature. The Punisher in the jail. The Punisher just all the time blowing people's faces off, killing child predators. The jail scene when he's just destroying people, stabbing them in the throat, just getting covered in blood. The violence, it was brutal. But not just the violence, the entire mature tone of it. It tackled so many adult issues that the MCU kind of shies away from and kind of covers up. Daredevil went full frontal assault into these issues, into mature content, into putting character first. And you saw Daredevil get his ass whooped on a constant basis. That's what makes these heroes relatable. We don't get that enough. We don't get to see them get their ass whooped enough. They kind of go back and forth with the villain a little bit, and they get a couple cuts on their cheeks and their foreheads. No. Daredevil was breathing heavy. He was getting his shit ripped open. He was bleeding. He was constantly getting stitches. He was constantly on the verge of death, blood running out of his mouth. It was so good. And I'm going to miss that if they change it. And dude, the action scenes, the hallway fight scene, the stairway fight scene, the 5-minute hospital one take, the brutality of the fight scenes of him just fucking going off on people. I really hope we don't lose that. The fight coordinators that were on that show need to be on this show. You can have new ones that can kind of make it, you know, MCU-ish, because the MCU has some great big time action and they know what they're doing. They have some really great action scenes. I just don't want to lose that realism of Daredevil. I mean, you know, he got chemicals splashed in his face, and now he's blind, but he has superhuman abilities and can leap from rooftop to rooftop. It's not exactly realistic. I'm not saying make it Zack Snyder's Justice League, make it black and white, make it super realistic in every facet, but the show balanced the comic bookiness with the realism in a perfect way. And when you perfect something, why would you mess it up? Why would you meddle with it? Why? Please, we don't know yet. That's the thing, guys. We can't jump to conclusions because we don't know what the tone is, what the story is, what universe it's set in. But from the evidence we've been given over the past few years, I'm leaning towards that it's going to be just like every other MCU property. I don't think they're going to go there. They're not going to take it to that level. Kingpin's been defeated twice now, so I don't really think they're going to use him again. If anything, they're gonna do Bullseye. But I mean, if Kingpin comes back, that would be amazing. But we finally got Kingpin back for the first time, and it's supposed to be this amazing moment where, oh my god, Vincent is back. The Kingpin is back. And he sucked. He got destroyed. He didn't kill anybody. He had no menace to him. He didn't feel like the Kingpin. He was only living off of the name that he made in a different show. Like, in the MCU, the Kingpin fucking sucked. So why would I think they're going to do Daredevil or Kingpin again or Bullseye or any of these characters justice? It might be good. It might be great. We don't know. It's way too early to say, like I already said. But we can't escape the fact that it has a legacy to live up to. It's not like Moon Knight, where Moon Knight had never had a TV show before. He never had a movie. He never had anything. So it was just starting from the ground up. Moon Knight, give me what you got. Your own original vision. No. This already had a show with these same actors, and it was so good that it has built up a level of expectation that's completely fair to say. You can't just take these characters from this other universe, this fantastic show, have the same actors, and not expect us to be like, okay, can it at least be as good as that? And I'm sorry, we don't know, but I'm 90% sure it's not going to be as good. Daredevil was fucking amazing. The MCU has never made anything that good. And I know technically it's in the MCU, air quotes, because they mentioned the attack on New York, they mentioned Thor, but it wasn't really. It was kind of loosely set in the same universe just to get viewers to watch it. And that's the thing, man. Back then, 2008, 2009, 2010, all the way up to like 2013-ish, 2014-ish, the MCU had something to prove. These were unknown properties to a lot of people. Iron Man, Cap, Thor, the Avengers. They had something to prove. They brought in hungry directors who wanted to prove themselves and just make something, the best thing they could make. Now, I think the MCU has gotten very complacent. And because they're so successful, I think that, I'm not going to say they don't try as much. They don't try as hard. I'm not going to accuse them of not trying. But people get comfortable. How successful they are, the billions of dollars they made, they can literally crank out anything. Dog shit, bullshit, cow shit, horse shit, and we will lap it up. We will eat it and digest it, and we'll take it, and we won't complain about it. So yes, there has been complacency in the MCU lately, and I don't want them to get complacent with Daredevil. Please don't get complacent. Don't get comfortable. Work as if your fucking ass and your back is against the wall. And then, and only then, when you have to prove yourself, will you produce something great. Please, take what I'm saying. Take what everyone's saying. Every negative person that's saying, this isn't going to be good. This is going to suck. It's not going to be as good as Daredevil. Take it. Take that as fuel and ammunition to prove us wrong. Make a fantastic show. If Daredevil is not the best MCU Disney Plus show by far, you have failed. Period. I'm sorry. We have seen it done right. Sometimes we haven't seen things done right, so we don't have anything to compare it to. We have seen this show done right, so we know how it can be done. So, hopefully, like I said, I'm glad to have it back. I'm glad to see Daredevil. I'm glad to see him in the MCU, and maybe he's gonna like talk to Spider-Man some more and have some adventures with him. Hopefully we'll get a movie with Daredevil. He'll meet other heroes. But, you know, I have to be real and honest here, and it doesn't excite me like it should. And I don't know if that's MCU overkill. I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if it's... Is there fatigue? I don't know. I don't know if it's like too many MCU movies. Just all the time. Oh, another show, another movie, 10, 12 properties a year. I don't know if it's too much or if the quality has genuinely gotten worse. I think the quality has gotten worse because, shit, you give me 10 great TV shows or movies a year, I'm gonna love it. I love watching good things. I think the quality has genuinely dipped. I would rather them release, 3 to 4 great things per year, or even 2 to 3 incredible things per year, than 10 average to bad things a year, with maybe one of them will be good. Like, seriously, there's been maybe 2, maybe 1 great thing in Phase 4, and they've released 15 things? Like, come on, the success rate is not as good as it used to be. And, yeah, I'm kind of blabbering now. Daredevil, back to Daredevil. I'm worried, but I will see. We got to see a trailer. We got to see some set photos. We got to see what the story is, who's in it. We need to see more. It's way too early to judge this, but those are my early thoughts on it. So, The Boys Season 3 got a new trailer, and yeah, it was better than the first trailer. That first trailer that had really no dialogue in it, and all it had was Imagine Dragons. That was pretty bad. That was pretty terrible. This trailer, though, looks fucking great. The Boys is an awesome show. I love Season 1. I think I love Season 2. I really liked it. I think Season 2 was a little weaker, but I really like the show. I love what it does, making fun of superheroes, spoofing them, kind of showing how it would realistically be in the real world. I've never read The Boys comic, so I don't know how much of it is accurate, to the comic. But this new season, it looks wilder, it looks wackier. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because there's not a lot to say. It's basically, hey, I'm excited, moving on. But Homelander, from what they've been saying and what they're showing, looks like he's already been off his rocker for 2 seasons. He's a fucking insane motherfucker, a milk-drinking son of a bitch, and I love him. It looks like he's really going to let loose this season. Just the demented facial expressions he makes, that false plastic smile where he hates everyone, but he wants to kill every single person on this planet who is underneath him, ants under his boot, but he has to smile through his teeth and just look at everyone, and it's so fake and false. And what's his name? Anthony Starr. He's so good as Homelander. He is a sick son of a bitch. I love him. This false persona. He's like, everyone looks at him as he's Superman, but he's really this piece of garbage, murderous, psychopathic mofo who loves drinking titty milk. It's amazing. This show is awesome, and it looks like Homelander is gonna go fucking crazy. His little eye twitches, the way that he interacts with each person, every single time he walks onto a scene. You are afraid, literally afraid for everyone around him. He's so unhinged, and he might do anything at any moment. I love him. I love him. Billy Butcher and some other people are gonna take some juice or something to give them superpowers for 24 hours. That'll be interesting, seeing Billy Butcher fucking fight back against the cunts with their own powers. With my terrible British accent. I'm wondering if it's gonna go a little too far with Billy Butcher shooting lasers out of his eyes and like becoming a soup. But as Mother's Milk points out, hey dude, we started this whole journey to stop people from having these powers. People shouldn't have this kind of power. So hopefully they're going to go into that. Maybe Billy Butcher loses himself in the power and becomes the thing that he's vouched to stop all these years. I don't know, there can be some really interesting things with that. And, I mean, can the show really go too far? Can the show jump the shark? I don't think it can. The show is so wacky and crazy, and you got so many crazy things that happen in the show that literally anything that happens, I'll believe it. I was thinking, is the show going too far with this plot line? And then, you know, 10 seconds later, I was like, it can't go too far. The show can't go too far. Like, that's the identity of the show, is being so loony and crazy and just making fun of the whole idea of superheroes and all of this. They can literally do anything. Jensen Ackles, is that his name? He's in the show as kind of a Captain America type ripoff. He looks exactly like Cap. Has a shield, he gets frozen in time, he comes back into our time, but then at the end of the trailer he starts shooting fire out of his chest. Can he do that? I don't know, I've never read the comics, but dude, shooting fire, shooting lasers, dance numbers, masturbating on the Empire State Building, drinking titty milk and killing soldiers and pushing kids off balconies and using babies with laser vision as a weapon and exploding the inside of a whale and going inside of it and having a girl stick her fingers inside of a guy's gills as they're having sex. Oh, this show is crazy and disgusting. And I'm excited for more. This is like I was saying with Daredevil, how it was a breath of fresh air against everything else. The Boys has consistently been a breath of fresh air to kind of cleanse the palate from everything else we're getting. The DC and the Marvel, give us something different every once in a while. Something with some true creativity, something that makes fun of it all. I love The Boys. I'm excited for The Boys. It looks crazier, wackier, and that's exactly what we want. So The Boys, June 3rd, it's less than a month away. Shit, it's 2 weeks away. Yes, I'm excited for it, baby. This show looks so good. I'm excited. But what I'm not excited for is Marvel to dig up the dead bones of Stan Lee and recreate him using CGI for shameless cameos for the next 20 years to come to profit off of it. That I'm not too into. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Marvel has signed a 20-year deal with Genius Brands International and POW Entertainment's joint venture Stan Lee Universe. This gives Marvel the right to license the likeness of Stan Lee in future films and TV productions and experiences worldwide, such as Disney theme parks, TV shows, and movies. Andy Hayward, chairman and CEO of Genius Brands, says this: "We are proud to be the stewards of the incredibly valued rights to Stan Lee's name, likeness, merchandise, and intellectual property brand. It really ensures that Stan, through digital technology and archival footage in other forms, will live in the most important venue, the Marvel movies and Disney theme parks. It's a broad deal." I mean, are those really important? Is it really important to take Stan Lee, digitally recreate him, and shamelessly plaster him on posters and Disney theme rides? Is that a super important thing to do? Is that really high up on the list of the things that Disney wants to do over the next few years? I mean, it hasn't been confirmed that they're going to bring him back for cameos, but he just said we're going to use him in the movies. So the cameos are coming. They have the rights to him. With old footage, deleted scenes, recorded dialogue, CGI, they're gonna use them for cameos. And it's kind of just icky to me. It's kind of just nasty. Especially if everything that was said about Stan Lee over the past few years before he died is true, which I don't know about, which I tend to believe, but we don't know, about his family and his team kind of using him to sign autographs to get money. If that's true, this is just fucking sad. I mean, you look at a lot of those videos where he's signing autographs, he's not even really there. He's not really coherent. He's just mindlessly like a zombie, just zoned out, signing his name. And he can't even remember how to sign his name in some of the videos because he's so fucking old. He should just be at his house, being at peace before he dies. He's out at cons signing his name with his hand shaking, and he's just like, they're like, okay, it's S-T-A-N. They're guiding him on how to fucking make them money. And look, Stan, I'm sure, was like, hey, I want to go to cons. I want to sign my autograph. I want to see fans. That's who he was. He was a man of the people until the end. But I'm not sure if he was in the right mind to even make that decision anymore. We don't know, though. But this just feels so just slimy and nasty. The fact that the man is dead. Look, Stan Lee is in the ground. His body is no longer with us. He's not here. Yes, his legacy lives on. But that's what this is. These characters living on in these movies, making you money, the comic books, the characters living forever, Spider-Man being famous for another 100 years. That's Stan Lee's legacy. The cameos that he did have, the fact that he was here. Life is precious because you miss it when it's gone. We miss Stan Lee because he's no longer here, so we get to cherish the cameos even more. I look back at the cameo in Thor, when he's in the truck trying to pull Mjolnir, or when he's in Guardians 2 as the informant for the Watchers, and I'm just like, it's so nice to see him, and I cherish these cameos that he was on set living and got to record. It was nice. It was a fun thing. It was an Easter egg. Every time Stan Lee came in, it was awesome. But to digitally recreate him and put him in a movie just for a shameless cameo that he's not even agreeing to because he's dead, it's weird. Now, someone like Chadwick Boseman, an actor in a movie who was passed on, who their story was not finished. If you bring him back for a scene or two to kind of thread the story together and kind of explain what happened and finish his story off, that makes sense. He's an actor in the movie, in the film. He's intrinsic to the plot. His story wasn't over. Sometimes you might have to bring somebody back with CGI for maybe one scene. Maybe. That's even a little, I'm a little on the fence about, but I understand. He's a part of the story. He has to be in there in some capacity. Stan Lee doesn't have to be in these movies. He doesn't have to be at the theme parks. He's not intrinsic to the story. He created these characters, but he's not a character in them. If I see a CGI Stan Lee cracking jokes in the Fantastic Four movie, it's just going to feel weird. It's going to completely take me out of it. And it's going to remind me that he's dead. And it's going to be sad. And it's going to be hollow. And it's going to just represent all of the bad parts of Disney and their disgusting business practices. And I don't know, is it just me, or does this just seem very slimy and icky and just a way to make money off of a dead man? Now, they're still making money off of him because of his characters, but metaphorically digging up his bones and putting him on the screen, it's just a little different for me. It's a little weird. And I just know it's not for the right reasons. It's not because they want to cherish his memory and they want to respect his legacy. Like I said, his legacy is living on. It will always live on in these characters. If he's at a Disney theme park, you get a cup with Stan Lee's face on it, and then somebody's getting money from that. It's just fucking disgusting. Oh, man. I don't know. Please, look, I love Stan Lee cameos, but let him rest. Let it be over. Let us respect him and watching the characters he created from his mind. I don't want to think about his deteriorating old mind where he was being forced to sign autographs, maybe. I don't want to be reminded of that. Listen, I don't want to be reminded of the real world. I watch these movies to be disconnected from the real world. It's an escapism, these movies. I don't want to be reminded that Stan Lee's dead by seeing his dead face on screen. Okay? Thanks. I don't know. I might be making too big of a deal out of it. I don't know. Let me know. Is it something that is worth being talked about and worth kind of getting outraged over? Or is it really a nothing thing and you don't really see it the way I see it? Let me know. And yeah, to get back on the positive side of things, I have some great fucking news. Let me let out a deep breath. This is so nice to hear. Oh my God. Thank you to whoever created the universe, whoever's out there, whatever deity you worship. Thank you to whoever it is. Riverdale is ending after 7 seasons. Riverdale. one of the worst shows I've genuinely ever had the displeasure of watching. I'm not joking. Listen, it's easy to be hyperbolic on YouTube and say these crazy things. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. This is the worst thing. This is trash. Listen, I'm hyperbolic sometimes. Everybody is, especially when you're, a so-called personality on YouTube. You gotta be hyperbolic sometimes to kind of be funny, to be fun. I'm not fucking joking. Riverdale might be the second worst show I've ever seen, next to True Blood. It is a garbage piece of filth show. The fact that Riverdale has 7 seasons and other TV shows can't make it past the fucking pilot? It's unbelievable. This is one of the worst pieces of media I've ever consumed. And yes, it was my decision to watch it. I watched 1 season, okay? I didn't go past that. I didn't torture myself. I watched 1 season to give it a chance. And it's terrible. It's absolutely asinine. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's inconsistent. It's poorly written, poorly acted. In every single freaking way that you can think something could be bad, it is. The only good thing about Riverdale is that sometimes the lighting and the shot selection is pretty good. It doesn't always look cheap. Other than that, it is a vile piece of filth. I'm not joking. I hate this show, and I'm so glad it's ending. I'm not glad that people are going to lose their jobs, but they're going to get more work. Maybe. I don't know. Not after this show, because it sucks so bad. But, I'm sorry if you lost your job, but make something better. If you make something quality, you're going to get work. You make something shitty, you're going to get fired. Honestly, you should have been fired a long time ago. Whoever made this show, you should be embarrassed of it. I hate this show. I fucking hate this show. Actually, funny story, which it's probably not even really funny, just more interesting. And it's probably not even interesting. It's really just a story. When I first started thinking about making a YouTube channel, because I thought about it for a long time, for a couple years, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I bought my camera. I started writing scripts for videos, and I really started to buy lights. And I was really thinking, okay, Philosophical Pickle is about to happen. One of the first videos I wrote was a 15-page dissection of why Riverdale is a piece of fucking garbage, and a rant on why the CW was a terrible network and why it's one of the worst shows of all time. And I just never made it because that's how I am. I've written, 50, 60, 70 videos that I just never made. That's just how I am. I procrastinate. I kind of lose interest in things. But Riverdale was one of the things that really got my juices going. It really set me on a path to get my YouTube career going, because I think it was maybe the second or third video I ever wrote, but it was the first video that I got in front of the camera, and I, put up some lights on my wall and put up some stuff just to practice. It didn't look good, but it was my first time ever. I'd never been in front of a camera. It was weird. I was awkward. I was nervous. My palms were sweating. Even though I was in my bedroom, I was just practicing. But I was practicing with this script that I wrote about Riverdale, and I was just fucking ripping into Riverdale. And it was the video that kind of broke me out of my shell and made me realize, okay, I can do this. I can be in front of the camera. I can have some confidence. I don't have to be nervous. I have immense stage fright, okay? I know it's not a big thing to some people, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you have stage fright, or if you get nervous in front of the camera, if your palms get sweaty, if you have terrible anxiety like me, you know what I mean. It's hard to even get in front of a camera, to even speak to a camera with you not even being on camera, just me speaking, wondering how my voice is going to sound, wondering what they're going to make fun of on my face. And you're putting yourself out there for millions of people, possibly, realistically 30 people, to look at and to make fun of you and to critique you and to comment on you. And it's not an easy thing for some people, especially not me. But I gotta thank Riverdale. It was the video that kind of helped me do that. It was the first time I got in front of a camera and I just ranted about something. And it really was the first step that helped me get more comfortable in front of the camera. Because I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera for maybe the first 6 months that I've been on here, and I'm still not really comfortable in front of it. A lot of shit I'm not gonna get into. Whatever. Back to Riverdale. This show fucking sucks, and I wrote a whole video on it, and that's the point of this story. This pointless fucking story that I don't even know the point of why I said it. Okay, yeah, this was one of the first videos I wrote. That was the whole story. I guess I could have just said that instead of going into the whole, dissection of my mentality of starting YouTube. I could have just said, I wrote a video on this, I never made it, end of story. But, yeah, it's ending. It's being canceled, or I don't know if it's being canceled or if they meant it to end after 7 seasons. But this show is garbage. Garbage. And I couldn't be happier. Listen, the fact that some shows like this are on air, it just takes away from talented shows with talented creators, true artistes, who can make things that are truly, truly great. Riverdale, you were a waste of space. You're a terrible show. One of the worst shows I've ever fucking seen. And I'm not gonna miss you. Sayonara, bitch. It's fucking great news. Ah, fantastic. For every piece of negative news, like the Stan Lee thing, or the fact that Daredevil might suck, or whatever it is, there's always negative news. There's always something positive, like Riverdale being canceled, to balance it out. Like Thanos said, it's all about balance. You have a negative, a good show gets canceled, you balance it out, baby. The universe is there for me. You fucking cancel Riverdale. I love it. I fucking love it. But back to the negative. I got one more thing I plan to talk about. And it's not even really a story. It's just, rumors from, inside Hollywood. Which rumors are interesting because someone might be working at a studio, or a director, or a writer, whoever it is, a producer, and they might literally just say, hey, I'm thinking about maybe doing a Captain Carter show. Maybe we want to do it. Somebody will hear that and go, oh shit, I gotta tell somebody. And they'll tell somebody that, they're gonna make a Captain Carter show, they're gonna make this show, and then that person runs with it and tells Variety, or tells The Hollywood Reporter, or tells whatever website. And it can literally be just someone was thinking about it, and now it's like, a Captain Carter show in the works? I don't know. Like, rumors and the scoop game is such bullshit because it's so much hearsay. It's he said, she said, that I heard from a producer that he was thinking about. Oh, shut the fuck up. We don't really know anything until it's actually concretely confirmed. And, we don't know right now, but there are rumors, that a Captain Carter either TV show or movie is going to be made for Disney+. And if true, I think it's a terrible idea. Captain fucking Carter. Listen, I was completely against the whole idea of the What If TV show just switching powers, because What If is not really always been about just switching powers. It's not about, hey, what if Star-Lord was Black Panther? What if Peggy was Captain America? No. Typically, the majority of What If comics are, you take a story, you change one vital element of that story, and then the domino effect happens of what would that change. It was never really about, hey, let's just switch powers. What if Daredevil had Spider-Man's powers? Like, it has happened a few times, but 85% of what ifs were not just lazy like that. There was more thought put into it, and they raised interesting questions like, what if the world knew that Daredevil was blind? Like, how would the villains treat him differently if they knew his superpower, or if they knew somebody's identity? Or what if Charles let the X-Men die on a mission? How would that affect his life and the X-Men overall? Like, interesting things like that. But when you just say, okay, what if instead of Steve becoming a super soldier and throwing a shield, Peggy becomes a super soldier and throws a shield? How about that? That's so fucking lazy. Like, what are you doing? That's not what If is about. Just having Captain Carter be there instead of Captain America. Just, you have T'Challa being Star-Lord. He looks the exact same, has the same exact powers, except for his personality's different. Like, dude, power swapping is so lazy. It has happened, but that's not what If is about. So the whole Captain Carter idea, I just don't like it. I think it's lazy. I think you could do so much more with What If. And the fact that she even got a movie appearance, lazy. If she gets a fucking TV show, I don't want that. What would the TV show be? We have seen it before. She really has no discernible personality other than she's a good person. That's what Steve was. He was a good, honorable person. She has the same powers as Steve, a buff super soldier. She has the same weapon as Steve, a vibranium shield. We've seen Steve throw shields at Nazis. We've seen him throw his shield at Hydra agents. We've seen him throw his shield at robots and aliens. We've seen her throw the shield. We've seen the shield be thrown. We've seen them fighting Nazis. We've seen them fighting aliens, fighting robots, fighting Hydra people. We've seen them in movies so many times. What the fuck would her show be? I know this is just a rumor and, you know, take it with a huge grain of salt or whatever, but just the concept of this, the fact that anyone's even thinking of this, it's just so stupid. If they did this, I would not watch. Captain Carter is such a lazy, fundamentally lazy idea, and it's kind of representative of the worst aspects of modern MCU and the laziness that they will go to put, you know, minimal effort into something and get minimal returns. Because if you make a Captain Carter TV show, it's going to have some fans, but it's not going to do gangbusters like Daredevil or even Moon Knight. It's like, what are they going to do with it? What story could she have? Dude, Peggy already had a TV show herself. What story could they do that we haven't seen before with all the characters and with Captain America specifically? Hey, Steve, anything you can do, I can do too. Listen, I don't want to see it again. I've seen it with Steve. He's Captain America. Captain Carter is so repetitive and lazy. Oh my god, let's get some X-Men. Let's get the Fantastic Four. Let's get some Daredevil up in here. Let's get some Ghost Rider. Get some Midnight Suns up in here, son. Let's get Secret Wars before Captain Carter. Please, could we get Secret Wars before Captain Carter? Please. Please and thank you. But, you know, it's not even confirmed, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it. It's just the thought of it made me kind of want to ramble a bit about it, because I'm just completely against the idea of Captain Carter. But I think that will conclude today's show. If you were here, if you watched all the way to this point, I commend you, I thank you, I give you applause, I give you my gratitude. I appreciate anyone who wants to listen to me talk. Listen, I'm sitting here just talking about shit that doesn't matter, and people are listening to it. You know, it's not a ton of people, but people are listening to things I have to say about nerdy shit? This is so stupid. But I love it. I love it, dude. Any one of you that made it to this point, I truly thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you spending your time with me today. You could have been doing anything else, and you chose to click on this and listen to me. If you subscribed to me recently, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, you know, fuck you. I'm kidding. Please don't go. Subscribe if you want to. If you like my content, you can subscribe. I don't like asking people to subscribe. It just feels weird to me. But if you want to, if you feel the need to, you know, whatever, do it. If you don't want to, just watch my videos. Support me by just watching. Drop me a like. Drop me a dislike. Dude, if you don't like me, I welcome dislikes. Give it to me, baby. Give me that dislike. Give me whatever you want. Don't do whatever. I don't care. It's your life, your prerogative. I just appreciate you being here. And I'm going to end this before I continue rambling, guys. Okay? This is over. Pickle Juice episode 4. I try to do this once a week, but I'm me and I procrastinate. I haven't done one of these in like over a month. So, you know, realistically expect 2 of these a month. I want to do it weekly, but it's just hard for me, who I am, to do it. I am not going to promise you that when it's not going to happen. But Pickle Juice episode 4. Yeah, that's all I really have to say. And until we meet again, as always...